Hello, welcome to UPSC-FEVER's chapter number 14 of India Yearbook 2016. This chapter is comprising of three different chapters. One is on manufacturing, second is law, and third is the labor reforms. So we shall start with the chapter number 14 with manufacturing. In India, the atomic energy sector and the railway operations, these are the two sectors that are reserved for public sector enterprises only, and private entry is not allowed in them. And apart from these two sectors, if a private sector wants to open industry in the field of electronics, of aerospace, which is rockets, defense equipments, hazardous chemicals, alcohol and tobacco related products, then there are certain compulsory licensing norms. Any industry not listed above needs to just file a industry entrepreneurs memorandum with the Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion. No license or any other restrictions are placed on opening industries in any other sectors apart from the ones that are stated before. And this was a result of the opening up of the economy after 1991. So pre-1991, what was the state of the economy? You can find out from our Indian economy section. National manufacturing policy is covered in the India Yearbook. There are four main objectives. Number one, enhance share of manufacturing to 25% of GDP. So this doing so will generate about 100 million jobs in the field of manufacturing by 2022. Provide skill-based training to workers that shall make them more employable, easing the compliance norms for industries by simplifying procedures, and national investment and manufacturing zones, which shall be dedicated zones for manufacturing units. These shall all be covered under the national manufacturing policy. As you can see, the government procurement policy in certain sectors like defense will be eased to boost manufacturing of manufacturing by the private players in this sector. So a national investment manufacturing zone, which is the key aspect in this policy, is supposed to be a large industry township with state of the art infrastructure, land use based on zones, governance structure which is independent of the state, several fiscal which is financial incentives, skill training centers for the workers, and clean and efficient energy technology solutions. So a national investment manufacturing zone seeks to provide everything that is needed to boost the manufacturing sector. And India's first national investment manufacturing zone is in Andhra Pradesh with an investment and potential to create 6.5 lakh jobs as stated in the yearbook. Next is the Make in India policy. Prime Minister announced this policy on September 2014 and it has mainly four pillars. First is new processes. So this is to facilitate ease of doing business. Several new processes have been designed which are entrepreneur friendly and having a potential to boost startups in manufacturing and other sectors. The second pillar is new infrastructure. Under this world-class infrastructure supported by state-of-the-art, which is the latest technologies, shall be provided. Requirements of skilled workers for the industry will be identified and skill development centers shall be provided. In intellectual property rights, which is trademark, copyright, patents, shall be speeded up and IPR infrastructure shall also be improved. New sectors is the third pillar. Manufacturing sectors shall be identified and foreign direct investment norms shall be liberalized. So easier foreign direct investment in defense production, medical devices, construction and railways shall be announced. And a new mindset, which is the fourth pillar of Make in India policy, the government shall change its role from a regulator to a facilitator and partner with the industry for economic development of the country. So these are the four main pillars of the Make in India policy. Again, I shall repeat: new processes, new infrastructure, new sectors, and finally, new mindset. So that was the manufacturing related chapter of the yearbook. Next chapter is on the Ministry of Law and Justice. This is the oldest ministry of the government, which is established first by the Charter Act 1833. Under this act, the power of making legislations or laws was in the hands of only the Governor General of India. However, after independence, the power to make laws is with the Parliament. The Constitution is not the only source of laws. There are delegated legislation, which is delegation of law-making powers to the permanent executive or the civil service. Delegated legislation has now increased in importance due to the complex and technical natures of the law. Supreme Court decisions, High Court decisions, these are also source of laws, or they are binding on all courts of India. Local customs and conventions, though are not though are not legally valid, but if they don't violate any statute or law, then their validity is also upheld by the courts. These are several sources of legislation. Under this, there is an important part, subtopic known as personal law. Personal law is the law which comes under the concurrent list, and so both the center and the state can make the law. Personal law is specific to the community, like the Hindu law, Hindu personal law, or the Muslim personal law. So, a very important topic here is triple talaq versus the Uniform Civil Code under Article 44 of the Constitution. Imposing a uniform civil code on its citizens might be difficult considering the minority groups shall protest against this, and so an alternative has to be explored. Many nations like Israel and Singapore too have recognition of Muslim personal law. Pre-independence India, many leaders like Gandhiji himself had told that the constitutional protection shall be provided to personal laws of various minorities. However, Article 44 of the Constitution, which made it a non-obligatory duty of the state to have a uniform civil code, went against these assurances. Personal law is providing protection to the customs and traditions which form an integral part of life of the various communities of India. However, the problem with the Muslim personal law in India is that it is based on English interpretations of the Quran and not the actual interpretation of the Quran. Thus, the Indian version of the law allows supreme powers to the husband in matters of divorce. And this is completely in contrary to the spirit of the Quranic version, which is fair to both parties and requires the husband to convince the court on the grounds of divorce. Opposition from various religious bodies and the All India Muslim Personal Law Board has led to the government not being able to smoothly modify the Muslim personal law. However, it should be noted that this view of the Muslim personal law on divorce is contrary to the version mentioned in the Quran. As per the Quranic interpretation, a divorce should be the last resort after exhaustive efforts of reconciliation have failed. It provides specific safeguards to the wife so that she can seek conditions while marrying and these conditions shall be related to the provision of pocket money, allowing visit to parents, and bar on a second wife, etc. So the current Muslim personal law goes against the view of Sharia, which is mentioned in the Quran. However, it shall take the government lot of consensus building before it can smoothly modify this law. So that was it about India Yearbook chapter 14a. We shall start with chapter 14b in the next video lecture. So don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel or follow us on Twitter or other social media. Hope you like this video. Best of luck.